Michelle Bennington here at the Book and Literacy Festival. Michelle, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Born and raised Kentucky. I've always wanted to be a writer. I started when I was 13, just writing really bad emo poetry. For anybody who doesn't know what that is, back in the 90s, you know, the emotional goth type of stuff. I was inspired by Edgar Allan Poe. I loved his stories and his poetry, and I wanted to be just like him. I wanted to write the stuff that he wrote because it was so enthralling, and I wanted to be that kind of writer. And so I wrote a lot of really bad stuff that no longer exists. I got rid of that a long time ago. And then I began applying myself in earnest probably in around 19 or 20 in college, but never really had the confidence to do anything about it. And then finally, middle age does something to you, and you realize, you've got one life, and it's not getting any longer. I need to go ahead and do this if I'm going to do it. So I started chasing the dream that I wanted to be a published writer.
So we had a conversation earlier about the genre of a cozy mystery. Mm-hmm. Can you kind of explain to our viewers a little bit about what that is?
Sure.
That's my favorite kind of genre. So.
Yeah, it's there are different branches of mystery. There's the hard-boiled detective novel, which tends to be a little gritty and edgy. It'll have the blood and the gore and the guts and all of that in it. And then you've got the traditional mystery novel, which is kind of like Agatha Christie. She could also be classified as a cozy author these days too, given how things have kind of progressed in media. But so the cozy mystery is more clean cut, as is the traditional mystery. Both are typically clean cut. There's no on-scene violence or gore or sex or anything like that. A lot is left to the imagination. The difference between traditional and cozy is that cozy is a little more of a sweeter, it has more of a sweeter bent to it, where, you know, it's usually like a bakery or a knitting club or something like that, where things just feel kind of, cozy, where you could just curl up with it and while your hours away reading the book. And so I hope that answers it for you.
That's great explanation. And so what is one piece of advice you would give a first-time author?
If you want to do traditional publishing, always read the submission guidelines and follow them to a T, because I cannot tell you how many editors and publishers get really aggravated with first-time authors who will not follow the submission guidelines. They think that they're going to be the special unicorn that doesn't have to follow the rules. And so always follow the rules. They have them in place for a reason, because it helps them process everything as quickly as possible. So you're not going to be special.
That's great advice.
Yeah, you're not going to be special. You just have to follow the rules like everybody else. And that's the best way to get accepted. And then, take as many craft classes as you can, or read as many craft books as you can. Hone your skills as much as you can to really ensure that you can maybe get your foot in the door easier and faster. But the business is subjective. And that's something else that a lot of first-timers really need to understand. They get so wrapped up in the art of writing that they forget that it's also a business. So you have to understand that there's going to be business considerations that the publishers and editors have to make, and it may not necessarily be a reflection on you. It's just what they're looking for or not at this particular time. And so that's where what Hallie was talking about earlier, you just have to keep trying, because you may have just hit upon somebody who just doesn't, they're not looking for what you have right now, but somebody else might want it. If you want to go the self-publishing route, be prepared to do a whole lot of work, because it's not easy. And it's going to be extremely time intensive, and it's going to cost money too. So you just have to kind of pick your battles on which end you want to go into too. So.
Very good. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Glad to be here. I appreciate it.